Hi, welcome to Coaching Your Life with TaNelle and Stef and TaNelle. Today, I'm really excited because we're going to talk about a book. But anyways, I'm TaNelle Farnsworth, and I help women going through the divorce and afterwards strengthen relationships they cherish and empower them to become amazing single women, single moms.
And I am Stef Tammer, and I am a healthy life coach who helps women who feel they don't have time for themselves. And working with me, we prioritize women's schedule to empower them to empower themselves.
Very good.
Strong.
Yes, I love it.
So speaking of strong women,
life.
So TaNelle mentioned we're going to read this book, talk about this book, and we have a business coach who recommended this book, and I love this book. It is amazing. Get Rich, Lucky Bitch. And so Denise Duffield-Thomas, she is everywhere, and probably because I'm manifesting it. Everywhere I look now, she's everywhere. But she talks about manifestation. And this book is particularly amazing. And she talks about money, but the thing that TaNelle and I really loved about this book was that it could really be about anything.
Yes.
And
like really
so,
anything.
Right.
You can manifest anything.
You can. So last night I was playing a game I manifested winning the game.
I do that all the time with my kids.
I mean, if you ever played Shut the Box, you have to get all the numbers done. It's a super fun game, but the whole object of the game is to shut the box, and you can play 30 rounds and never actually shut the box. And I did twice last night.
Hey.
And I know. And I even did it on a round where my husband shut the box. So nice. I tied him instead of lose, because I was like, no, I'm winning this. I'm winning tonight. And anyway, so this book is, and I just want to show how much I love this book, because I have all these pages tabbed, right?
Yeah, right.
And then, I don't know if you can see because the light is so bright in here, but I have all these pages highlighted, and then you can see in there on every page, there's something to highlight, to go back to. It's so amazing. So, so actually, TaNelle and I, because we both read this book, we really wanted to get on it and just chat about all the highlighted items that we.
And we have a lot. We have a lot.
We do. So one of the things I love about this book is, first, her voice is very true. It is clearly just her voice talking. She doesn't try to pretty anything up.
No, she doesn't. Not at all. And I love that she so this is something that I love, is she's from Australia, and which I find pretty amazing in itself. But not that Australia is like struggling in any way, but I just love that she really connects with us Americans too. Like, she makes it like things are different. Like, obviously, like they call things different in Australia, but then she'll like put in parentheses like prom or whatever. Like, I love, right. Like, I love that.
Like I said, her voice is so true. You're right. I didn't even pick up on that, but now that you say that, she did do a good job of that. The other thing she does in this book is she has quotes from various people, famous people.
Oh yeah.
So this is one I circled, which is just hilarious, but the quotes are awesome. People often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. So Zig Ziglar said that. But just funny little things that are pertinent to what she's talking about, right. But keep it light, and you could get really serious when you're talking about money and manifestation and a lot of the topics she touches on in this book. So she does a great job of keeping the topics moving, keeping it light, keeping it real. And really
I like the real, like I love the real in the book.
Yeah, me too. I think that's why it resonated so well with me.
Yes.
And so she really breaks down her formula into 5 steps. And they're fairly simple. And her thing is, here are the 5 steps. She gives it to you on page 9. She doesn't keep it a secret till the end of the book. She tells you, this is what you're going to do. The secret is to just keep doing it. So her 5 steps are: declutter everything in your life, decide exactly what you want, surround your life with positivity, take action, and receive and fine tune, which means just keep going. That
Yes.
last one.
Yes. All of it. I mean, really, you could just doing all these things just without reading the book. She kind of shows you how better and how she did it.
Right.
But really, decluttering everything in your life, like I could definitely do better at decluttering my life.
Yeah. I should show you my desk right now.
You don't even want to see mine.
Decluttering, and when she talks about decluttering in this, she doesn't not mean your physical space, because she does talk about the importance of your physical space as well. But she also is talking about your mindset and your background.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
So
yes.
specifically money, but again, it could be, we could replace the word money with relationships, with health, you know, with so many other things, but specifically money. So what is your money background? Why do you have the thoughts that you have? Declutter where you're coming from is essentially what she's talking about, which, you know, do you believe you have to be poor because you were raised in a house that never had enough?
Right.
Or do you believe you have to spend money because you were raised in a space, or you were surrounded with people that only ever gave away what they had, so you feel like you have to give it away, right? So that's so powerful. TaNelle and I were talking about how I was given both. Like you have to make money, and you have to hold on to it because you don't know when you might have money again. But I was also given later in life, you have money and don't worry, here, spend it. I'll give you more. There'll always be more.
But don't you feel like that's just part of where your parents were at? Like their mindset was like, don't, you need to save your money because we don't know when it's gonna, you know, like you don't know when next paycheck's coming in, or you don't know when, you know, and then like later in life when your dad's an established businessman, he's probably like, yeah, don't worry about it. I have plenty.
Right. And it's just how you internalize and what you take away from it as an individual. And everybody, my sister's money mindset is 100% different, I'm certain. She is a number of years older than me. And I say that she's 8 years older than me. And when you consider where my parents were when she was in high school versus where they were when I was in high school, that's just different mindset coming at her from their perspective, right? Like, so her mindset has to be different than mine because of our age difference, because of where our parents were.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And also where society is. I think it's important when you declutter your money mindset to understand that it's not just your parents, right? So in the 80s, it was really important to have Cavaricci jeans. And it was really like certain things were really, really important that are material, right? In the 90s, it was really important to look as grungy as you could.
Think about those baggy pants. Oh man.
I mean, I wore my sister's clothes because I'm 5'4" and my sister is 5'11". So if I wore her pants, totally different style,
capris,
right? Like
you had capris.
I had
Oh,
like I had to roll them up.
Yeah.
If she wore mine, she would have had capris. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, her clothes being big on me, like she's skinny. I don't mean it that way, but like long on me, that was fine because I could roll them up and I could look grungy because that's what it was in the 90s.
Right.
I didn't need to buy new things. So society told me that things were different too. So it's not just what your parents say, it's everything coming at you. And to declutter that takes time and is super powerful when you can break it down that way and see why you think a certain way.
Yeah, agreed. Very much agreed.
So as TaNelle mentioned, we have so many, you can't see my thing, there you go. So many things we wanted to talk about in this book because
it's a good book.
Just amazing.
Like seriously highlighted every page almost. Like there's probably like maybe 10 pages not highlighted.
Oh, another thing she does is she gives awesome mantras throughout the book.
Mm-hmm. We're going to share some of those.
We are, because they're awesome. So some of them she highlights and makes pretty clear that that's what they are. Like here, just, in the middle of a page, she says some awesome, amazing things. And on this particular page, it's safe for me to have excess money. It's safe to have a big savings cushion. If you have a feeling like you have to spend your money because having money is bad, then you would want to say this mantra over and over, right? And post it everywhere. So it's what you see. And she has these little tidbits of fabulousness all throughout the book.
She's amazing. Awesome. Like I want to meet her one day.
Let's go to Australia.
Yes.
I'm going to manifest that. So I kind of want to go through the book as it goes.
Perfect. Let's do it.
So I have to cough. Excuse me 1 second. So sorry. So one of the things she talks about is, well, I know one of the things that really resonated with TaNelle was on page 60 and 61.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And it's so important to, so one quote here as TaNelle gets the page, you have far more chance of becoming a millionaire through your own ingenuity than through an arbitrary lottery win. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's super powerful. And I think people don't believe in themselves often enough to believe that that can be the truth.
So true. So what I loved about this though is that it's how, like, she talks about like 3 things in this part, like page 58 through 61. She talks about like maximizing your chance opportunities. So like, yeah, if you want to win the lottery, then you actually have to play the lottery to win. Like, right? Like, or you have to tell people like, so she talks about like this trip that she manifested about, like she won a 6-month trip and it was completely paid for, like travel, stay, everything was paid for. Her husband and her quit their jobs and they went on vacation for 6 months. Like amazing, right? But she like told everybody that she wanted to win, or she said she told everybody she wanted to go on a 6-month trip with her husband. And then her friend ended up telling her, you should enter to win this competition, the 6-month vacation. I mean, so you have to tell people what you want in order to get what you want. So it's like, and she also, like, and later on in the book, I don't remember what page it is, but she talks about like when you make your wish for your birthday, you don't tell anybody, like, right? Don't tell anybody, it won't come true. And she talked about Cinderella. I can't remember that one, but the birthday one resonated with me. Do you remember the Cinderella one?
I don't.
It was something about how princesses don't do something. I don't know anyways. But
Again,
anyway,
I have to reread this book.
Yeah. So I just thought it was interesting because, yeah, we have to manifest or maximize our chances and opportunities. You need to tell people what you want. You need to listen to your lucky hunches and take steps to develop these, like your gut feeling, right? You need to expect good fortune. Like you expect it to happen to you. Keep going, face the failure, just keep wanting it, right? 4 was turn your bad luck to good. And like, I love this part because she talks about like, if you're like telling yourself, this is like a whole mindset thing. If you're telling yourself, yeah, I'm not lucky, like, then you're not going to win. If you tell yourself, I'm lucky, then I'm going to win. But this is also true. Like, I've done this so many times because I work really early in the morning. I have to tell myself at night, I'm only going to get 4 hours of sleep, and I'm going to be well rested with 4 hours of sleep. So it's totally a mindset thing. We are manifesting, like, which
Yes.
it's money on this one, but you can also do it in other ways in your life. You have to have a positive outlook for these things to happen, which I love.
Yeah, and one of the things, she puts this in a perspective that I think is super powerful. So you get a bill, and instead of thinking, oh, another bill, think, oh my goodness, I'm so blessed that when I pay this bill, I will continue to have hot water, or I will continue to have electricity. Because quite honestly, that's how you get those things,
or
right?
So nice car to drive, right? Yeah.
Right.
Nice house to live in.
So instead of being frustrated or cursing those bills, is if you're that unhappy with that bill, is it something you can live without?
Right.
Right. Like, just don't pay it anymore. I'm not saying don't pay your mortgage, but if it's if it makes you that unhappy, but if you're thankful for that thing, be thankful for that thing.
Yes. Agreed.
And paying for it is just a side effect of being thankful for that thing.
Yeah.
Right. I think that was super, that resonated with me a lot.
Yes.
And one of the things she talks about, and I'm going back and forth, we touched on going back to your past to look for clues as to why you think the way you think.
Yeah, and that's a huge, because your money map, your map is from the time you're born, and it mostly came from your parents. So if your parents have issues with certain things, then you most likely will have issues with those things too.
Right. And like society, if society is saying that if you're rich, you are, like, also depending on what you watch, right? Like, so some music says if you're rich, you're a baller, right? Like you've got it all, you're awesome. But also if you're rich, then you're a jackass, because you should be sharing your money with everybody. Right. So what are you hearing, and what is resonating with you enough to hold on to?
Right.
And to really look into the past to see what those things are, to then turn around and forgive. Right.
Yeah. And to forgive. And I love what she says about like the Hawaiian, I don't remember what thank you, I'm sorry, I forgive you. There's like, I think 3 or 4, but it's the Hawaiian, what is it, Steph?
The practice of reconciliation and forgiveness. Yes. I can't say it in Hawaiian because I can't.
Well, it's the Hawaiian like forgiveness thing. And it just mostly says like, I'm sorry, I love you, like, thank you maybe, and I forgive you. I think there's 4.
So the simple forgiveness mantra: I forgive you, thank you, I'm sorry, and I love you. It's the Hawaiian practice of reconciliation and forgiveness.
Yes. So I think too, like, if we can forgive whoever gave you that money thing, and then you have to forgive yourself too, because like you've been holding on to that for so long.
And that you've been holding on to it for so long is only because you were taught it somehow,
or you believe
to do it. It's not your fault. You just have to recognize, okay, I did that, and now I need to move on.
Yeah. Which I think is super powerful. Yeah.
Yes. The more I forgive, the more money I earn because I allow myself to receive. That's another one of her mantras, just written in the text, just throws in that nice little tidbit there. I love
Isn't that
it.
amazing? She's so great. She's so good.
Goodness, I'm so sorry. So sorry about this cough.
Don't worry about it. Don't go to schools.
Say again?
Just don't go to schools.
No, they're all closed in our town.
Yeah, we're getting there. We haven't closed down yet, but.
So there are so many things I want to jump to, and I'm trying to stay on track with the book. I think we might have passed a couple big things, but on
You'll have to read the book.
You have to read the book. But on the idea of forgiving yourself, and understanding that you only have the thoughts and beliefs you have because they came from somewhere.
Right.
And so to remind yourself that and to forgive yourself for that is so important. So one of the things she talks about in this book, and I'm sure you have heard of it before, and if you haven't, there's so many different places you can look it up and see the truth of it. But there's a thing called the structure of water, which everybody should look up. It's super cool. But essentially what it is when you surround water with love, and that means with the word love, say love to water.
Yeah, like that experiment. There's an experiment that someone did. Do you remember his name? Dr. Amelto?
Yes, Emoto.
Yeah, he took different plants, right, and wrote on the bottles different things.
Yep.
So like, I love you, or, like, you're gross.
Well, the other, on one vial, he wrote, I hate you, I'm going to kill myself, I'm going to kill you. And on the other bottle, he wrote positive message, like, I love you. And then they actually looked at the basic structure of water, not the hydrogen and oxygen structure, but
like they put it under a microscope.
They put it under a microscope, and the crystalline structure of the water, of the negative messages, was distorted and irregular. And the water with beautiful, calming, and self-accepting messages had structure that were symmetrical, beautiful, and harmonious at a microscopic level. It was clear to see. And we've all heard of the idea that when you're somebody that has a garden or has a greenhouse or whatever, and you speak nicely to your plants, it helps them grow, right?
Yes.
And you can see that. You can see that when you sing to your plants and you're kind to your plants and you talk to them, that they grow. What is that doing for you inside your body? I'm sorry. When all you're doing is saying, I should have known better, I'm not worth it, or whatever the self-talk that you're saying because you're disappointed in how you were thinking or feeling, what is that doing internally to you? If
right.
Just saying, you're amazing, you're going to feed me, and I'm thankful for you, to a plant changes how it grows.
Well, right? I will just tell you right now that I had a client of mine. She would always, like, jokingly, she'd be like, something would happen. She'd be like, oh, I hate my life, like sarcastically. And I had to talk to her and say, you can't say that. Like, even being sarcastic, like, you really have to, like, look at the words you're saying to yourself inside, in your brain even, and what you speak out loud. It's really powerful because, yeah, like, if you are saying I hate my life, then your life, bad things are going to happen to your life. Not necessarily bad things,
right,
but it's not going to be like amazing like you want it to be.
Well, the way she words it here is, imagine what it does to our bodies when we give ourselves messages of self-hate and run our low-level programs of negative thoughts or resentment. Excuse me. And at a cellular level, we are creating negativity, lack, and distortion, just exactly like the water.
Yeah.
At a cellular level inside our bodies.
It's pretty powerful. Pretty
So,
powerful.
so to get on a soapbox, and I'm just going to stand on the edge of the soapbox for 2 seconds and say that this negativity and this self-talk that we are so prone to doing, this is where autoimmune, this is my thing, autoimmune issues. Why are there so many autoimmune issues? Why is there so much cancer and heart disease? We are telling our bodies that we are not worth something, whatever it is. All the time, we are looking in the mirror and saying, I wish I looked different, or I'm not good enough, or I hate my life, or something that is then hurting us internally. And we're not looking at that as a thing that could potentially make us sick. But why wouldn't it? If it literally can help plants grow or not grow, why is it any different inside our bodies?
Yeah, because we are a living plant. Like, I mean, a plant is living. We are living. We're not a plant, but we're living. They are living.
Yep.
We're both living things. So yeah, it would be the same effect, I would think.
I will get off my soapbox there for now.
I love it. Something else that I love in this chapter before we go to the next page is that on page 98, it says, when you give yourself permission to be perfect the way you are, you can become truly rich, both materially and spiritually, which I love because it's so true. If you give yourself permission, think about the possibilities of just being, like I can do this. So it's pretty powerful.
Yeah. And it's so freeing, right?
Yes.
So I know another one that you really love is this next
is my
one,
favorite.
and talking about goals. Yeah, you should share.
Okay, I will. So this is talking about writing down your goals every single day. So I started doing this because like she suggested it. So I'm like, this is something that I love too about this book is everything she suggests is free. Like it is literally free. Like you just have to do it. So writing down your goals takes me like 1 minute to write down my goals every single day. So I have like some long-term goals, like what I want to do, like with my business, like what I want to do with my family. Like I have some goals that I want. I also write down my daily goals after I'm done writing down my long-term goals. Like it makes me focus more. Like it makes me so much more focused on the things that I'm doing. Like, hey, like my big goals, my small goals today are going to get me to my big goals later. So, which I love. Yes. And so I'm going to tell you that I have my phone, like I am the timer of like the queen timer, because my timer is going off like at least every hour telling me what I need to do. So like I don't usually get to my like work stuff until like later in the afternoon. So because like I got kids, getting them ready for school and stuff like that. So I wrote a timer. I'm like, when's the best time for me to be able to write down my goals? So I put it at 11 o'clock because then by 12:30, when my son is going to bed, then I'm ready. I'm ready to like jump on my goals. Like you have to intentionally put it at a time when you know is going to be a perfect time. Because if I put it at 8 o'clock, I'm driving my kids to school. Then I'll forget about it and I won't be able to remember. So like I will seriously forget that my timer went off.
I understand. And I think most of us are like that, right?
Yeah.
Like we all have things that keep us going. So the intentional goal setting alarm is amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm totally going to institute that today.
It's been great. But Steph, don't do it like when you're working. Do it when you'll get home. Like make sure you've already eaten lunch. Like make it at a time that you know that you're going to be working on what you need to do. I think.
Right.
Or like do it in the morning for your morning miracle, because I know you still do that.
I do. I love it.
I love it. Good book too.
I know.
Okay.
So one thing I don't think we wrote down, but I really want to touch on is the idea, and it kind of goes back to the the map of where you're coming from with money. And she spends a lot of time talking about wealthy people, like actors, wealthy actors and sports people, and how they became really, really wealthy and they've lost it all. And the importance of understanding, and I'm only touching on it because I think it's super powerful to understand that those people their intention was not to get rich and lose all their money.
Right. Their intention was to be rich and stay rich because they're celebrities.
Right. And some spend it really poorly. Some gave it all away. And she goes through a whole bunch of stories. But it's kind of interesting to see, if you don't know what your mindset is on money, that you can manifest all sorts of stuff. But if you don't know what your feelings are on it, it won't stay a reality for you. You can't hold on to it.
Right.
So I just felt like I wanted to touch on that, because you can manifest anything, but you can also lose anything.
Right.
If you're not understanding where you're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah. Because especially if you get like stuck in like something happens, like if you've manifest all this money and then like you have all this money and then like a story that you've told yourself, like, oh, I need to spend all my money, or, you know, like I need to sit out my money in savings, like a story that you've told yourself that you had on your map before when you were born, right? Then it might come up. Like things come up all the time. Like it might be deep down that you've forgotten about it, but like as you are getting more money or manifesting more love or whatever, then things might come to you and be like, oh, like a little bit standoffish now because this story came up for you, which I find interesting. Right. You know, like, so you have to work through that. Like, I'm sorry, I forgive you, I love you, you know, so, and forgive it. So
yes, and she talks about even the idea of giving it away, and you give it away a lot of the time because you fear people are going to judge you for what you have. So you give it so that, look, you have this, but you're so kind, you're giving it. So don't judge me. But
yeah, so you don't look like a rich, lucky bee.
Right. But then you're only hurting yourself because now it's gone.
You're giving away all your money.
Right. So, oh, she's amazing.
She is great.
All right. Another one you really, really liked was was 134 about the gratitude. You want to talk on that?
Oh yeah. Another thing. So we kind of touched on this. I thought maybe not.
I guess we did a little bit. Yes.
But when you send gratitude, like when you have a gratitude experience, like make sure that you're giving, like you're giving, when you say thank you and you have like, hey, thank you so much for this experience, then the universe is going to give you more, which I find like when you're thankful for things, it's so true. And so like going to bed and saying thank you before you go to bed, I think it's super powerful, and like you'll just feel like so much better, like more abundance of thankfulness of everything that you have. So I know you have a gratitude journal. Do you do it before bed or do you do it in the morning?
It's sitting right next to me. I actually do it in the morning, and I kind of like the idea of doing it before bed, but I also know the reality of me following through right before bed is less likely.
For me, I'm like, I'm ready for bed and I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah.
Like I'm tired. Yeah. Yes.
So, I mean, for me, it would just be shifting some things to make it a reality, which I could do because I didn't used to wake up and do a gratitude journal. So I could do it in the evening.
Yeah.
But I
put a timer in your phone.
So true. Oh my goodness, I so love it.
My kids are like, turn off the timer. But your timers are always going off. Like, get off.
I know, and the cool thing is you can make it be a different sound each time, right? So
yeah,
so cool. So the next thing she talks on is going on a treasure hunt, which I think it's. So I did this, and what she's saying is, again, this is a manifestation book about money. So specifically money, go on a treasure hunt and find all the different places that you have it.
Yeah, like your bed, or not your bed, but like your couch, or like, yeah,
couch. Right. The bottom of your purse. Do you know how much money I found in my purse? I'm ashamed to tell you, because you know they have all these pockets.
Yeah.
Right. I found $47 and a whole bunch of change in my purse.
Wow.
Because I like to like fold 20s up really small and hide them so that they're emergency money. But I also keep an emergency 20 in my wallet, just as like it sits behind my license. Now everybody knows that. But
don't rob stuff.
Don't rob the stuff. Well, most of the money is gone now. I put it elsewhere, but I've done that in a couple different pockets of my purse. And I was like, oh my goodness, like how awesome, like bonus, right?
Yeah.
But then I went through my socks and my jewelry, which is such a bizarre thing, but we put things in bizarre places, you guys. And I found this. I have no idea how much money is on this. It's $25 to $500. It's not written on. I probably bought it for someone else, and for whatever reason didn't misplaced it when it was time to give it to them. But I have no idea how much is on it. And this is such an awesome surprise.
Yeah.
An Amazon gift card too. Even if it was $25, it's so awesome because Amazon is where most of us buy a ton of things.
Right.
But go through your stuff and find where your money is. Find that gift certificate your friend gave you that you were like, I'm not sure, I never use that. Why not? Go use it. Or give it to someone else and bring them joy, right? It doesn't even have to be, actual cash. It could be in the form of gift certificates. It could be, in the form of, trying to think of what I found the other day. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. I'm going to have to write it down. Oh, frequent flyer points. Or, right, like we accrue gas points. That's money. That's money. Yeah. Gas points, even if it's 60 cents off, that's still money because you're spending that money to fill your gas tank. And now you're spending 60 cents less. So go on a treasure hunt and find all the places that you have. Yeah. It's so cool. My car would probably
be a good one. I don't carry a purse, so there's not going to be no money in my purse. Maybe my wallet, but I usually just take my wallet with me.
Another thing she says in here is to, I believe it was in this book, to keep money in your wallet to show you that you have money and you're worth money and it's always there.
Yes.
So my son plays a game called Magic, which is funny. It's sitting right next to me. It's a card game. And a couple months ago, we went to a convention for it, and he sold a bunch of his Magic cards, and he made $100. And he's like, Mom, will you hold on to this so I don't spend it? So in my wallet is $100 bill, which is not mine, but it's the
appearance.
The appearance and the worth of, like, my son's money is coming as well. Like it's everywhere around me. But I'd love that $100 bill to be mine. He reminds me often it's not.
I'm sure he does. I can imagine my kids doing
do you have my $100? You know that's mine, right? That's mine. Which good for him. He knows it's his, and he knows it's not for me. So that's powerful for him too.
Yes.
He likes to add the word "yet" onto things.
It's not your money yet.
Say to me, yes, it's not my, yeah, right.
Because
so I don't have $100 bill in my wallet that's mine yet.
Right. Well, I think I can see my son saying, it's not your money yet. Like, let me buy something on Amazon and then it'll be your money.
See, right. I love those children. They're amazing. Oh, another money mantra here on page 140. Money loves me and takes care of me.
Yeah, that's a pretty powerful one.
Just
I like
letting
that
the
one.
universe know that it's good. Money is good. It doesn't mean that it's your most important thing, but let's be honest. If your goal in life is to, there's 100 goals. So I would love to be able to travel to areas that are hurt by natural disasters. And I cannot do that without money. That is a main goal in my life. But I cannot do that without money because I cannot take time off without losing money, right? I cannot travel there without paying to get there. I can't stay wherever that is without paying to stay somewhere. So it's a powerful thing to acknowledge that money doesn't buy happiness by any means. You can't just because you have money, you are happy, but it can get you to places you want to go.
Yes,
and
which
so
makes you happy.
Right. And go in life. It doesn't have to be a destination, but to say money loves me is to say that it's okay. It takes care of me. It's okay. Because I think so many people have if I have money, I'm bad. Somebody's going to
definitely.
Or I'm rich, so I must be
a B.
Bitch. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So
I don't think we said the name of this. Get Rich, Lucky Bitch. I don't think we ever said, did we?
Did we not? That's hilarious.
I don't know. Yeah, this is a good book. This is the book we're talking about. So yeah, we are saying B a lot, but she doesn't swear very much in it. She doesn't say that if you are a person that doesn't like that word, then it's only a few times she usually says lucky B, which I like. I'm not a big person on swearing, so I do like that.
She does. That's true. Because she also doesn't want us to
be that,
to be bad. Like it shouldn't be a negative thing because you have the money.
Right. And I like that she talks about that later on. She does talk about how she she thought she was a bitch because she was bossy or something, which I find, people will call you that if they, so if you're bossy or you're the boss and you're over something and you're trying to get things done and people don't like that. So
true.
That doesn't necessarily mean that you are one.
But it also comes down to like the idea of what other people think. And we often don't celebrate our own celebrations and things like you're lucky. She started saying how lucky she was to people, not I'm so lucky. But what she noticed was when she was excited, she was proud. Part of her celebration of what was going well for her was to tell other people, because when you tell other people what you want, more comes to you, right?
Right.
So what she realized one day was when she was saying all the things that were coming to her, she felt very like maybe she sounds
selfish.
Like a bitch.
Yeah.
And selfish because she's saying, look at all this awesomeness. But we often hold back from our amazingness because we don't want to make other people feel bad.
Right.
Why do they feel bad? There's an awesome line, Rachel Hollis, what other people think of you is none of your business. What they don't need to judge you on that. They should say, I'm going to aspire to that. And if they are thinking negative thoughts about you because you are doing awesome, that's their problem. That's nothing to do with you. So if you are happy with what's going on, share it, tell it, spread it to the world, right? Like don't hold it in. And
right.
So she says lucky bees as like the queen bee, the head of the hive, as opposed to the nasty.
Yes. Yeah. You are. Yeah. I like that.
Anyway. So the next thing we really wanted to touch on was, on page 159 TaNelle. And, she talks about when you are trying to shift things in your life to believe that you are worth the upgrade and the more money. to go out and buy.
Not like,
Okay, so
not like a lot, just don't like
right.
use your credit card and buy like a $500 pair of shoes, but to upgrade
right. So she
from what
talks
you
about,
are at now.
right. So she talks about to get there, you have to act like you're already there.
Right.
But to act like you're already there and to go buy a Kate Spade purse when you only ever use, you know, like
one that you made.
It's right. The one your kid made in home ec. You won't use it very often, right? And you'll feel like a fraud. So rather than do this huge upgrade really quickly, still upgrade little pieces of your life. Start living that next step for yourself. No, you're not a millionaire yet, but you will get there. So one of the examples she uses is underwear. Mm-hmm. And don't go out to the fanciest, I don't know the names of fancy underwear places, but don't go to Victoria's Secret and buy their most expensive bra and panty set because you can afford one, and then you never wear it because you can only afford one. You want it to be special, right?
Right.
Go, if you shop at Target, go to Target and don't buy the ones you usually buy. Buy the
nicer
$2 more set.
Right. I kind of look at it like I shop at Walmart a lot. I hardly ever shop at Target because it's kind of out of my way a little bit. When I go shop, I'm not a shopper. So I'll just tell you that right there. I'm not a shopper. So for me to go to a store, I want to get it done all in one place. So like for me to go to Walmart, like if I wanted to upgrade like my bras, then I would go to Target. So like, it doesn't have to be like huge upgrade. Like if you shop at Walmart, which isn't bad, go to the next upgrade, go to Walmart or go to Ross or, you know, like go to TJ Maxx or wherever you think is a better upgrade, which TJ Maxx, they have really nice name brand stuff. So like, that's a great upgrade because you're getting it at a good deal and it's a name brand. So.
Right. And you want it to be something you're going to use. So instead of buying one pair, don't go so far above what you can afford that you only do one, because in reference to underwear, because the idea is that you use it and you feel amazing when you're using it, whatever it is, whether it's a purse or, and again, TJ Maxx or Marshalls is a great example of a purse or something else like that. Like you can go and get something that is a little bit of a splurge, but you would use it every day.
Right.
And feel amazing when you're using it and get compliments. People are like, oh my goodness, where'd you get that? Or, I mean, I don't know about you, but when I put on a certain pair of underwear, I feel more powerful because I know that they're sexy or they're cool or they,
isn't it funny though, like
fit better.
Like, you know I find it hilarious. Like you just feel comfortable. Like, so I remember wearing a shirt, like for reals, like it was super cute, and I bought it from the Family Dollar. I'm not gonna lie, I bought it and I got so many compliments on that shirt, but it was seriously like the cutest shirt ever, and it was like $10, and people were like, where did you get that? And I'm like, the Family Dollar. Like, but it made me feel good. Like it fit me good, it fit right, like, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, as long as it's making you feel good and empowered, go with it.
Upgrading would feel more powerful for me too.
Then now you know that too, acknowledging and
yeah. Well, I just like
forward, right?
I'm thinking about like my own personal shopping habits. Like I just don't like shopping. Like I will have to buy, like I will have to hire a stylist because I honestly do not for clothes.
Ditto.
And like the town I live in, like has a Family Dollar, a Dollar Tree, and like that's it. Like, so yeah, shopping at the dollar store, the Family Dollar is like kind of just what we have here in our town. Unless I want to drive 30 minutes away to go, but I don't really like to do that. So if I want a new shirt, sometimes it's from the
if you wanted to upgrade, you would. Oh, that's funny. So in reference to upgrading, she says the universe rewards you when you reward yourself. So when you show the universe, which she talks about, that's where you're manifesting from the universe. When you show the universe you are worth that upgrade enough that you put the time and effort in and money into it, then the universe can offer you more.
Yes.
Which is a little deep because we're talking very surface in this conversation, but she words it really well.
She does. Honestly, this is a great book. If you are wanting more in your life, this is a great way to get it, because like it doesn't necessarily have to be money, which I love. Like you can manifest whatever you want. Like it can be, if you want more love in your life, manifest it. Be intentional about it. If you want more friendships, manifest it and be intentional about it. But that's what and just be grateful for the friendships you have, and more will come to you, which I love.
Yes. Yes. And she says, I'm just going to read it straight from the book. She says on page 183, you're much better off making small upgrades in your everyday life because you'll feel like you can control your success and your action toward it. And you can take small actions several times a day and immediately feel the change inside. So again, she goes into detail about these things, but it's showing the universe you're worth it now, spending that little bit of money on those nicer bras or the underwear or the purse or
right.
whatever
Agreed.
that is, to show those little steps towards it where you're comfortable enough to use it, and showing the universe, I'm ready to make immediate change. I've done this and now I'm using it every day as part of my everyday.
Yeah, I highlighted that part right here, and it says just show the universe that you're worth it now. That you're worth it now. You are worth it now. So show it.
Right. It's a very empowering book, you guys.
It really is.
Spectacular. And she does, we won't touch on this too much, but she does a little later in this same chapter touch on sabotage and how we
sabotage ourselves all the time.
All the time. We do. In every area of our life. And look at me sabotaging my own money by hiding over $40 in my purse. That is a self-sabotage, right? Because I always feel like I don't have cash, but I do. All these days I've been walking around with cash in my purse, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Like it's so ridiculous. So we are, and in little ways like that we're not even realizing our self-sabotage, that is still, I'm always feeling like I wish I was the person that carried cash. And in actuality, I am. Clearly, I already had it. So it's just little things we're saying to ourselves, and to start noticing those, writing them down. And when you write them down, you become aware of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Kind of like the intentional goal setting. When you write down your goals, you are intentionally aware of where you're trying to get to. When you're writing down your own self-sabotage, right, you become more aware of what you're doing, and you can shift what you're doing when you're aware of it. Which is, honestly, as coaches, one of the most powerful things you can do to recognize you're always telling yourself, oh, my life sucks, or whatever. That little piece of self-sabotage, again, as coaches, that's such a focus for us to have you realize where you're sabotaging yourself. Because
you don't even notice it because you've been doing it for so long. Yeah. This next part, Steph, I want you to talk about, because you love this part. The burnt toast.
Oh, yes. And it falls into self-sabotage so perfectly, right? So Terry Hatcher apparently wrote a book called Burnt Toast. And so I'm just trying to skip ahead to that page because this is the quote from Terry Hatcher's book. It says, "Are you the kind of person who tries to scrape off the black? Do you throw it away, or do you just eat it? If you shrug and eat the toast, is it because you're willing to settle for less? Or maybe you don't want to be wasteful. But if you go ahead and eat the blackened square of bread, then what you're really saying to yourself and to the world and to the universe is that that piece of bread has more worth than your own satisfaction. And it's little tiny pieces of life like that are self-sabotaging to our own self-worth every day throughout the day, all the time. Little things like that you don't even think it makes a difference, but are you eating your children's leftovers, or are you preparing your own food? Is your food hot when you eat it? Is everybody sitting down at the table already? And if your food is not hot, is it because it just took everybody too long to get to the table and everybody is eating a meal that's not hot? Or is it just yours?
It's mostly I'm helping everybody else get their food ready. I mean, I wouldn't say that mine's not hot. I know that I'm the last person to sit down.
And so, to be very blunt, you have one child that could not do something for you.
Yeah,
and
I have been trying to be more intentional about my kids
of your
helping
four.
Me. Yeah.
Right? So I once I sit down, like once all three plates are down on the table, I intentionally, and my child, it drives him crazy. Drew, can you get the salt? Drew, I don't get up. I make a intention, and it seems really snotty, I'm sure, to Drew and Tim, but it is my little way of saying,
you have been preparing, and they've just been sitting there. That's what I hate. My kids are sitting all at the table, and I'm like, hey, do you see that I'm over here? Yeah, they're waiting for their food, right? And I'm like, hey, do you see that I need help over here? You can all get up. You can help me get some forks. You can help me get some plates. You know, like, you don't, that drives me crazy.
So it's little tiny things like that that can knock down or boost your self-worth. And as long as you are saying, I am worth, like you said, when I was talking about this part earlier, and you said, I burned toast yesterday and I threw it away. That's amazing, because you're saying either your children are worth more than the burnt toast, or you are. And regardless, we all are worth more than burnt toast. Unless, of course, you love burnt toast, and then you should eat it because you love it.
Yeah. So I don't like burnt toast. That was my biggest thing, is that I like mine very, very lightly toasted. Someone had turned the knob the opposite way. And so I popped up and I actually started scraping it off. I was like, no, I am not doing this. Like, I don't even think I'll enjoy this. So, but I think at a time, like probably 5 or 6 years ago, I probably would have ate that blackened toast. I'm not gonna lie.
There. You spent money on the bread.
Yeah, just because of the way I was living and who I was living with, I would have definitely eaten that black toast. So
and that is so powerful for a shift in you to first to recognize it, and then to know that's where you were. And today you're like, ugh, and it's gone.
Yeah.
So
when I read this book, it was pretty powerful.
Right? Like this
book burnt toast happened before I read this book, before I read that part in the book.
Right. So, and and so they made it a little more powerful. Like you could recognize that in yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons why this book was so amazing to me was that it wasn't just about getting rich. It was on a whole about empowering your own mindset to believe you are worth it.
Yeah.
The love, the relationship, the money, the health, the whatever you want to replace the word rich with in the title. It really, it's empowering to believe you are worth it, and showing you the steps to get there.
Yeah, it really is. And I just love her examples too. This, like, she keeps it real. Like, it's real, like, relatable examples.
Yeah. Yes. And on the topic of manifestation, because so she talks about it. She gives examples of in her own life, and then in people that follow her. Examples
like her lucky bees and her boot camp.
So my sister, I recommended this book to my sister. I told her she needs to buy 2 copies, one for her and one for her husband. because it just, I feel like when you have this book, I mean, I showed a little bit how much I highlighted. You showed how much you highlighted. It's yours. It's yours because what you're reading is from your own past, and your own hurts and self-worth is what's resonating with you in this book. So to share it with someone else really doesn't work. So anyway, I told her she needed 2 copies. And so she then bought me this book, which is, yep, E squared. E squared. So it's 9 do-it-yourself energy experiments. I know, well, it's tough. 9 do-it-yourself energy experiments that prove that your thoughts create your reality, which is essentially what she is saying here, but she is saying it with money as her main thing. So this book is really cool, and maybe it's another one we talked about, but it's 9 experiments. So I started the first experiment yesterday, and I just want to tell you a couple things that have happened since this experiment. So here's the experiment. It is literally, is it possible to manifest things? That's the first question, right? And if there is an energy force available to everyone equally, can I access it at any time simply by paying attention? If I ask the force for a blessing, giving it a specific time frame and clear instructions, will it send me the gift and say, my pleasure, here you go, right? So that's the idea of this first experiment. So you give it 48 hours, you write it down, your start and finish. And actually, this is very clear. This is the page. It has everything on it.
Oh, nice.
I don't even know if you can read that or if it's too small.
Like today's date, it says your research notes. Love it.
Yes. So, so here is the very first experiment. And this is her approach. This is how she words it. When I wrote it down, I worded it differently, but this is what you're saying to the universe. I hate to break it to you, but folks are starting to talk. They're starting to wonder, is this guy for real? She correlates God and the energy force together, because people pray and say that God doesn't listen. And this is the same in this book for her. It's the same. She has some really awesome quotes, but anyway, I mean, I'd like it to be, hold on. They're starting to wonder, is this guy for real? I mean, really, like, it'd be so much skin off your chin to come down here and call off this crazy hide and seek thing you've been playing. Now I'm giving you exactly 48 hours to make your presence known. I want a thumbs up, a clear sign, something that cannot be written off as coincidence. So she's asking for a gift or a blessing or a sign that's of something coming to her in the next 48 hours. Again, I wrote it differently. She's like, hers is a challenge. Mine is saying, I know it will come. So a sign, a gift, a blessing that I know is seen. And right after I wrote that, this is super silly, but right after I wrote it, I went and changed the laundry. We have done about 5 loads of towels. I opened the dryer and a quarter fell. There's only been towels washed, and a quarter is just sitting right there in with the towels. How does a quarter get in the towels?
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, that was super crazy. And then yesterday, as I was reading the chapter, I had said to my husband, stocks are low, buy stocks. Stocks are low right now. We should be buying stocks. So he comes home and he says, so I bought some stocks, because he had already bought stocks, but because I reiterated it, he went and was like, all right, I'll find some stocks to buy. So at the beginning of the day, he bought stocks, and by close, they were up 300. We had made $300 on the stocks he bought because I said, you should buy stocks. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
So these little signs, right? I had written down 3 things. And I'm not going to be able to find my Post-it note for my 3rd thing. I think I left it downstairs. But acknowledging them. Oh, Oh, and the Shut the Box, the game
Oh,
we played
yeah.
that I was like, show me this blessing, show me I can win. Because here's the thing you guys need to know. My
I do
family
this
and
with
we
my
play
kids all
games
the time.
and
I
I
do
don't
it.
win very often. I don't. I my husband wins or my son wins, and I just play because it's fun. But last night I was like, nope, I'm winning. And I have asked the universe to show me that it's going to happen. And I did.
I do that with my kids all the time. My son, we got a Skippo, which is just a card game, and it's really just a game of chance, right? Like whatever cards you get. But my son is really good at it, and he usually wins, my 13-year-old son. And we were playing, and we had played like 3 times that day, and he won. Like we had already played several times. It was like during Christmas or something. And I had said, you always win. I'm going to win this time. Like said it out loud. I was like, I am not going to let you win. And he didn't. And it feels, I mean, he's 13, so don't be so hard on him, right? But it felt good. It felt good.
But it's one of those intentional things. Like you can pull the energy from the universe just like I can, just like she can, just like, right? So it's all about the belief and the belief. Again, I love that what her book actually comes down to is self-worth.
Yes.
And then what to do with that, believing you are worth it and showing what you can do with it.
Right. The last mantra that she says is, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. It's my time and I'm ready for the next step. It's pretty powerful. I mean, just think about that for just a second, and I'm exactly where I need to be. It's pretty powerful.
I love that.
All right, you guys. We were on here for a really long time, but this book is amazing. And if you want more abundance in your life, not necessarily money, but if you want more abundance and you think you can manifest that, this is a good book to get you there.
I'm going to say, even if you don't think you can manifest it,
it teaches you
buy
how.
this book and follow her steps, and you will be amazed. Even if you don't believe it right now, even after.
I just want to say something before. So this book is about money, and so I have been manifesting money because that is what the book is about. And so like I've been trying it, right? Like, you know, you're experimenting with it. And so my first month when I start, so it takes me a while to read books because I have a lot going on. Like I got 4 kids. But anyways, so my first month I was like, okay, yeah, like I'm just gonna go like $200 more than I think that I make, right? I met that goal. So then I was like, hey, I'm gonna go $500 more than I made previous month. I met that goal. I was short $67, I should say. I didn't meet the goal, but I was still like very happy that I was like, yes, I am there. Like, you know, and this month, let me just tell you that it is the 14th. And I only have $800 more to go for the month that I've already manifested. Yeah. So that's pretty amazing because I'm like, who in the world thought that I could make that much money? Because I honestly didn't think that I could. And so that was my money block, right? Like, I'm like, no, like I won't be able to ever make that much money, but next month I'm going $500 more than I'm making this month. So
good for you.
Yeah. I'm doing, so I feel like you can just do whatever, like the universe is looking out for you if you have a positive outlook and a positive attitude and you're grateful for what you have.
Yes. And as you were talking, I just remembered so many other things that we could have talked about this book. It's very powerful.
Yes.
And so I'm going to hold it up again if you're watching. Get Rich, Lucky Bitch by Denise Duffield-Thomas.
Yeah.
It's on Amazon. It's at your local bookstore, I'm sure, if you want to support. the
The local stores, which they need it right now. So
yes,
it's always a good idea.
So sorry this is so long. We had actually intended it to be shorter, but
we
clearly we're really excited about it. All right, so go out and tell the universe that you are powerful and worthy of whatever it is you want to come at you, and write it down and look for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking about searching for the money, hidden money, and finding it in my purse. But try those couple things and see how it works for you.
All right, guys. You guys have a good day.
Take care.